welcome back. I'm just gonna get right into it. So this happened a few days ago, but AOC accused Ted Cruz of attempted murder. It's just hysterical and also completely ridiculous. Ted Cruz actually tweeted at AOC agreeing with something she said, and she sent out a tweet back at him. And instead of reading it for you myself, I'll go ahead and do you the favor of letting you hear it through Ben Shapiro.
I am happy to work with Republicans on this issue where there's common ground, but you almost had me murdered 3 weeks ago, so you can sit this one out. Happy to work with almost any other GOP that aren't trying to get me killed. In the meantime, if you want to help, you can resign. And then she continues, while you conveniently talk about moving on, a second Capitol police officer lost their life yesterday in the still raging aftermath of the attacks you had a role in. This isn't a joke. We need accountability. That includes a new senator from Texas. And she continued along these lines. She didn't stop. You haven't even apologized for the serious physical and mental harm you contributed to, from Capitol Police and custodial workers to your own fellow members of Congress. In the meantime, you can get off my timeline and stop clout chasing. Thanks, okay?
The most ridiculous part of all of this is not even what she said, because it's kind of expected that she's going to say a lot of dumb shit. It's that so many people agreed with her and cheered her on.
Back, oh my God, what, slay queen?
It really just shows how fucking stupid we are as a country. There's really no other way to put it. It makes us look stupid to agree with someone who uses words like clout. I will never understand why she's so hyped up on the left. Congresswomen who want to be taken seriously should not be using words like clout. So embarrassing. And speaking of clout, one of the biggest clout chasers on the entire internet, Tana Mojo, has been forcing her way into this whole Claudia Conway, Kellyanne Conway situation that I talked about in my last video. And she has made it her duty to put Kellyanne Conway in jail. So we'll see how that goes.
Your daughter Claudia is a sweet girl, but I'm not. And I'm not going to stop until you're behind bars.
Kevin Kleinsmith has received a whole 12 months probation for falsifying evidence in order to spy on the Trump campaign. That's it. That's all. There's no punchline.
Ex-FBI lawyer Kevin Kleinsmith, he pleaded guilty that he did falsify a CIA email so the Obama administration's FBI team could illegally spy on the Trump campaign. He got 12 months probation, 400 hours of community service.
It's a joke that he could do something so extreme and only get 12 months probation. I know people who have had a gram of weed on them who've gotten more than that. If these are the kind of results we're going to get out of this, I don't even care to pay attention to it anymore, because that's a joke.
He did something very wrong. It's not just that he misspoke to the FBI during an investigation. He altered documents to spy on an American citizen, and he did it knowingly. So what's his punishment? Oops, a little slap on the wrist. Too bad, don't do that again. This guy was a small fry fish. What about the big fish? What about the guys who perpetrated the Russia hoax for years? What about the people who tried to destroy the Trump administration? Where are they? They're celebrated as heroes in Washington, D.C., and they will never be brought to justice. They got away with it.
Joe Biden's agenda and everything he's done so far is exactly what most of us feared would happen. So many executive orders he's passed have been in the name of saving the environment. But he himself, despite what these fact checkers claim, has said that if you have to rule by executive order, you're a dictator.
Here are President Biden's executive orders to, quote, tackle the climate crisis, make climate consideration an essential element on foreign policy and national security. And here we go. This is what you just talked about. Pauses new oil and gas leases on public lands, federal lands, offshore waters, directs federal agencies to eliminate fossil fuel subsidies, and calls to double renewable energy production from offshore wind by 2030. Also,
you believed the I won't tax anyone who earns less than $400,000. Get over it. He's already told you. Janet Yellen, his Treasury Secretary nominee, said in her written testimony that both she and the president want a tax on energy, a carbon tax, a gasoline tax on steroids. That's a tax on every single American. You don't have to make $400,000 a year to fill up your tank. He wants to increase the capital gains tax to ordinary income. for every American, Biden says.
You know, it's interesting that Joe Biden ran as a moderate, and now all of a sudden AOC is praising this Green New Deal plan as something that Biden supports, when Joe Biden continuously said on the campaign trail that he doesn't support the Green New Deal, although he does support some kind of climate change legislation or executive orders. Well, now we know that his vice president, Kamala Harris, who co-sponsored the Green New Deal with AOC, is getting exactly what they want when it comes to this overwhelming takeover of the federal government in terms of climate change and going after every aspect of Americans' lives because you can justify it by saying it's environmentally friendly.
He's been nicknamed this week Job Killing Joe, and I really feel like that's the most accurate way to put it. I'm glad that the Trumpism trait that's carried on is nicknaming corrupt politicians. It really shows Trump's impact on so many of us. The fact that we just continue these names.
Or I should say, Job Killing Joe, as he's known. Maybe that's why AOC likes him so much. Remember what you did to Amazon in New York City? Cost us all those jobs? Well, Joe just cost us about 11,000 with the Keystone. AOC's like, oh yeah, that's the kind of guy we're looking for. Come over here and join us in the squad while we just destroy union jobs, Juan.
You know it's bad when even CNN admits that Joe Biden is killing thousands of jobs. Even they're admitting it and honestly kind of looking a little disgusted by it.
But right now there are areas where President Biden's actions will put people out of work. Canceling the Keystone pipeline, the decision on no new fracking on new federal lands. Those governmental decisions are going to put people out of work. In fact, already are doing so. What do you say to those people? After all, you were a politician and you understand there has to be, you have to find a way to bring people along.
Don't know why they expected anything else than what he's been doing. It was pretty predictable. Obviously, it's being pretty quickly exposed. He was lying about being a moderate throughout his whole campaign. Most of us, I think, saw through all of that, and the people who didn't are feeling betrayed, and I feel like there's blame on both sides as far as that goes. But it was clear to most of us that the people who would be controlling him would be Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, AOC. AOC is now loving everything Joe Biden's doing environmentally, and that's bad. That's bad for us. That's bad for everyone who's had their job affected or completely taken away. If you're one of those people and you watch my channel, I want you to know I am so sorry that this has happened to you.
His actions this week have adversely impacted 1 million jobs, either eliminating or adversely impacting, opening the border to drug cartels, to labor gangs, to human traffickers, sex traffickers, making certain that fuel, that you've got that crude in Canada that is going to be heading over to China and then sold back to us. Right. These are things that do not help the U.S. economy.
It's super fucked up, and I wish that there was a way to just object to it all and not let him have his way with the stroke of a pen. So again, I'm so sorry if what he's done has affected you. One last thing I want to touch on really quickly is the vaccines. I would like to know your guys' thoughts on if they work or not, because a representative who has gotten both doses of the vaccine tested positive for coronavirus, and they're trying to explain it away as he's asymptomatic, he's not sick at all, supposedly, and it just got up his nose.
Congressman Stephen Lynch has tested positive for COVID-19 despite receiving both doses of the Pfizer vaccine. His office saying, quote, while Mr. Lynch remains asymptomatic and feels fine, he will self-quarantine and will vote by proxy in Congress during the coming week. So just how common is this? Let's bring in Fox News medical contributor Dr. Mark Siegel. So Dr. Siegel, help me break this down. He got both shots, still got COVID, yet is asymptomatic. So what do you think is happening here?
Well, Jedediah, good morning. Listen, he's 65 years old, and if he gets COVID-19, the chances are that he would probably have some symptoms. So I think, and I can't prove this, that he may be in the group that is not in the 5% Pfizer vaccine failure, but points out a different thing, which is even if you're immunized, even if you're fully protected, if you come in contact with someone with COVID-19, you might get virus in your nose and test positive. Now,
I'm curious to see what you guys think about this. That's all for now. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I will have part 1 of my Trump project up within a week. Hopefully. It's taken me a long time. I've just had a lot going on in my life lately, a lot of things to do, just a lot going on. So I hope you like this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.